The following episode of Crusade for Myth Drannor was adapted from The Castle of Corellon, written by Sean McGovern. Spring is upon the Dalelands, and the nearby small town of Barrowmist, nestled in the woods some miles northeast of Ashavenford, is soon to hold their Arrowsunder Festival, a small gathering held in honor of the elven deity Corellon Larethian. Visitors will find alcohol aplenty, baked goods for sale, and have a chance to participate in an archery competition. Mostly it is a small gathering and does not draw many from out of town. Dawnbringer Darnay suggests Massul and Jynx go to the Arrowsunder Festival for a chance to relax and clear their minds, having spent the last couple of Tenday discussing the changes to the world since Massul was cured of his petrification. Travel is slow for the two, and Rilyanasse and Túrendil soon catch up with the pair. Ril, having been sent by local tavern owner Holdfast Harpenshield to purchase some casks from the festival vintners, and Túrendil being requested by the town's priest of Corellon to come adjudicate the festival's archery competition, as they wish to participate and still appear impartial. The four decide to travel together for safety and companionship, arriving at Barrowmist without incident. The festival is a relaxed affair, with none of the newly formed quartet interested in displaying their archery prowess. Massul and Jynx get to work sampling the foods available and filling their tankards, while the two elves linger near the designated area for the archery contest. They have a good view of the range, as the people of Barrowmist have set up targets in a large pit that must have been the foundation of a rather impressive building in ages past. Now all that remains are 4 pillars covered in faintly glowing elven runes. Namorel, the priestess who had requested the favor from Ashavenford, approaches to greet the visitors to the town. She has pale skin and a thick head of hair the color of the dark night sky that she wears down. She wears a gossamer azure robe embroidered with silver crescent moons over old but well-kept chainmail, something many familiar with the priest of the Father of Elvenkind would see regularly. Namorel speaks in a deliberate, serious tone that comes off as aloof and dispassionate as she instructs Túrendil on what to expect from the contest he had graciously agreed to judge. As the rounds progress, strange happenings interrupt the excitement of the archery contest. First, a parliament of owls, a strange sight during the daytime for certain, emerges from the forest east of town, resting on a building overlooking the festival. Ilimpilin joins them, the bird's feathers ruffled proudly as the largest by far among the group. Then, during the second round, a sizable herd of deer, terrified by something in the woods, dashes through the festival grounds. Massul, seeing something more interesting than his meal, rises to attempt to down one for its meat, but the frightened animals are hell-bent on fleeing, leaving the eager dwarf empty-handed. Finally, after the contest is ended and folks are cleaning up, a trio of winged Gnashers descends on the gathering and attacks. With villagers fleeing the bat-winged wolves, Massul and Jynx move forward to drive off the monsters. Jynx flicks a dagger out, ready to slice the beast, and Massul lets loose his hammer, eager to show the might of Clan Bloodfury to any who would witness. Túrendil and Rilyanasse come at the Gnashers from the south, catching the creatures in a pincer between the two halves of the party. Túrendil calls for the blessing of Corellon, empowering himself for the fight to come, while Ril knocks an arrow and lands a shot in the flank of the nearest Gnasher. She whistles for her owl, and Ilimpilin descends upon the same foe. Jynx and Massul, meanwhile, are having a tougher time with their opponent. The monster, seeing the halfling as an appetizing target, has injured them, and they are now prone before the wolf in danger of becoming a meal. Massul lets the heat of battle overtake him and flies into a rage, swinging his hammer wildly and injuring the creature. The other two Gnashers gang up on Rilyannasse's owl companion, landing a good bite on their feathered foe between them. Ilimpilin gives in kind, and between the owl and elves, one of the monsters goes down. Nearby, Jynx scrambles away from the Gnasher's snapping maw as Massul lands a killing blow on the monster. The 4 of them make quick work of the last creature and are rewarded with the relieved cheers of the people of Barrowmist and prompt healing from Namorel and her brother Norlannen. Tanya Norimor stalks onto the scene of the incident, her forest green cloak whipping about her. revealing a dirty breastplate and multiple armaments hidden beneath as she briskly approaches the party and the corpses around them. She removes her sallet, runs a hand through her short brown hair, and introduces herself as a warden of Barrowmist. The conversation is brisk but friendly as Tanya asks the visitors to join an emergency meeting with the town elders. Namorel is there, as well as the sage Volnadimus, an elderly gentleman who spends the entire meeting seated, allowing his younger and more hot-blooded peers to tackle the issue. There is concern that whatever has caused these disturbances is not done, and given the prowess just displayed, they practically beg the party to investigate. Massul is the first to volunteer.
For the honor of Clan Bloodfury, I will aid thee.
Jynx quietly adds that where he goes, they'll be in tow. Are there none among the wardens more skilled than we? Túrendil questions. But in the end, he accepts that they are perhaps the best fit for the job. Rilyanasse also agrees, for she was considering how to arrange to do so whether asked or not.
I shall go as well.
Armed with what provisions and good luck charms the townsfolk can muster for them, a pie for the road, the town's best 10-foot pole, and a dozen or so arrows, the four set off pursuing disturbances to the east toward the city of Song. After several hours of hiking, the sound of something massive approaching echoes through the air. 3 large trees crash down in front of the group, sparrows that were roosting in their branches scatter. Weapons are drawn and the four prepare to stand their ground, but it is no creature at all. A massive mound of earth, easily 40 feet high and 100 long, glides lazily toward them, vines dragging on the ground. An earth moat. Atop it, several creatures with wicked-looking claws dance and cackle. Blood moon goblins. One concentrates on a fleeing sparrow, the songbird drops dead mid-air. Rilyanasse lets loose an arrow at a goblin, sending her owl up to engage the clawed foes. Túrendil calls upon Corellon Larethian, blessing the party for the fight to come, while Massul and Jynx pack their weapons away and grab vines to climb up and engage the goblins. Another bird falls as the goblin torments it with their powers, while 2 move to engage limp. Jynx struggles to find the perches to climb and has to hustle to keep up with the gliding ruin, while their bigger teammates begin ascending proficiently. This continues for the next couple of rounds, limp and the goblins trading blows with the owl retreating, injured and outnumbered, while the goblins dance excitedly for the arrival of the climbers. The 3 climbers breach the ledge of the earth moat, the elves clambering up first. They are greeted with the sight of what is left of an ancient elven castle. The walls are in ruin, and the last bit of surviving art, an old weathered sculpture of an elven face with sparkling blue eyes, all that remains of once grand sculptures and frescoes. The goblins rush them, employing wicked claws and filling their minds with visions of an unearthly, hellish plane where orcs make eternal war. Túrendil cuts one down with righteous fury, offering up an old elven taunt, describing their chance and skill and proclaiming their imminent doom with intent that could fairly be translated as, "Bring it, meat." Rilyanasse lets an arrow fly and wounds another goblin, calling for limp to grab the struggling Jynx below. Jynx shrieks in terror and excitement, holding onto the owl for dear life. Massul stands proud after a hard climb, whipping his lucerne hammer around him as he prepares to wade into combat. One of the blood-mood goblins assaults Massul's mind with visions of the eternal battles of Acheron, and the dwarf stumbles a moment. The claws of another scrape uselessly against Túrendil's armor, and the elf voices his contempt for the creature before ending its life. Finding its claws similarly ineffective and injured by another arrow, the last goblin has no chance to flee before being flattened by the business end of the dwarf's lucerne hammer. limp deposits Jynx atop the gliding ruin and waits to have her wounds tended by her master. Túrendil sternly warns the halfling against desecrating this place, noticing the little one considering the sparkling eyes of the last surviving wall sculpture, with hammer and pick already in hand. A few spells later, and a quick search of the ruins finds a stairway down to double doors with elven runes written upon them. Túrendil knows it well, the litany of arrows, an old battle prayer to Corellon Larethian. The wind whispers of danger and treasure as the four cautiously open the doors, and find a small room with another door leading deeper into the dungeon. This is the first part of the first episode. The second part will go live 15 minutes after this does, or in about 5 minutes if you're watching the premiere. Please like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you for the rest of the adventure.